Hello, everybody. Welcome to Be Her with Shalon. Today, I wanted to talk more about relationships, okay? And because as we all know, I don't know why I'm always like, I've been in a lot of relationships. Not that I'm not the only one who's been in a lot of relationships, but you've heard me talk about relationships in the past, right? And how I was married like 15 years ago. I guess I got divorced from my ex-husband, right? And I've had I think about 4 or 5 longer term relationships in that time frame. Okay. In 15 years, like, it's possible, it's doable, right? And through each one of those relationships, like, I really grew and shifted and changed and all the things, right? Here's a little Miss Freya, sorry. And so, oh, she's super lovey today. Okay. Like I said, it's real life around here. Okay. When she's coming to say hi to me, I always feel like, especially when I'm doing stuff like this, it's Goddess Hecate that's coming through. And Goddess Hecate is the goddess of crossroads, okay? And I guess maybe she's coming through to tell me and that, like, that was a crossroad. She was there helping me at that time. That was a crossroad. Whenever I came time to, like, end a relationship, that was a crossroad that I was needing to choose. Like, do I stay in this connection where I felt like I was not growing anymore, right? Like, it felt stagnant. We wanted different things, right? It wasn't going to progress anywhere, right? And then I ended up being at this crossroad. Do I stay or do I evolve? Right. And that's kind of what it comes down to. Like, all of our relationships are meant to shape us and mold us or grow with us. Okay. At a reason, a season, or a lifetime. All right. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in having to leave a relationship because it didn't work out, because you grew apart as opposed to growing together. Okay. I know there's like a lot of emphasis put on relationships, right? And I feel like as we move and shift and change into the age of Aquarius, that there is going to be more women that are not getting into relationships because not because, but like, if the masculine is not going to step up and do the work to become the divine masculine, there's going to be less women who are going to be in relationships, just because it is so much like, it's so much work. Like, it is, it's so, relationships take work. Okay, they take effort, they take commitment, they take deciding day after day after day that I choose you, I choose to be with you, right? And that's that's a big deal, that's a big commitment, right? Not that, like, there's anything wrong with being in a relationship or being single. Like, it's to each their own. And I know I've worked with a lot of people who are ending their connections with people, or deciding, like, is that something that I should do or not do or whatever, right? And I never force people, I guess, I don't know, for lack of better words, to, like, stay or leave. I just help guide them through the process of discovery as to whether they want to or not. If they want to continue to choose that connection, or if it's no longer serving them, is basically what I usually end up doing with that person, right? And it's up to them to make the decision of whether they want to stay and work on the connection or leave, right? And that's usually what I end up doing with a lot of people. Unfortunately, more times than not, they choose to leave the relationship because it's no longer serving them, right? And they knew this a long time ago. I've told lots of my clients, I'm like, we didn't just wake up one day and decide, like, I'm gonna, like, throw the bomb in and, like, end my marriage. That's not how it works. Like, we all know, we've been in relationships, we've been in marriages, right? Where it's like, you try and you try and you try and you try. Like, I was going to counseling with my ex-husband for a really long time, for couples counseling, and it just got to a point where I'm like, this is actually not working. And I've actually worked with a lot of people who've been going to counseling for years and years and years, and they're like, this is not serving me. And they actually usually end up, like, breaking up with their counselor and coming to work with me. Not to be like tooting my own horn or anything like that, but like literally that's what happens because I give them the results that they require, as opposed to I find with counselors that I found in the past. I know not every counselor is the same, okay? But we were just talking in circles about the same thing over and over and over again. And it wasn't getting me anywhere. They weren't giving me any tools. They weren't giving me any skills. They weren't actually healing what the underlying root was, what the underlying problem of the situation was, right? And so this is why I end up going down the journey of being like, a healer and getting into, like, I don't actually believe that you decide to become a healer. I feel like you were just like born into it. Do you know what I mean? Like you're either a healer or not. And you know this from being an empath, and lots of people are empathic. Everybody has psychic abilities. Just so you know, everybody's healing and psychic abilities. It's just a matter of if you want to tap into them or not. Okay. And some people do, some people don't. And that's okay. So I decided I needed to, my parents have always been more holistic anyway. Like they've always gone the more natural route. And so it was just normal for me to pursue other options, right? And when I came across SRT clearing, I was like, oh my goodness. And not the same. There's two different SRT clearings. Don't get me wrong. Two different ones. Okay. The one that I do is subconscious release technique. And that is literally dealing with the limiting beliefs and negative mindsets that are stored in subconscious from things that happened in our past. Okay. From circumstances that like circumstances that shaped and molded our belief system and our mindset and our programs and all of the things, okay, that are keeping us in the same cycles. And when I literally had my first session done with an SRT lady, she was phenomenal. And I immediately felt a shift. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is great. This is what I need to do, right? And so, I'm sorry. Like I told you, we're real life around here, and my dog is driving me crazy with this thing that she is playing with. And not that she's not happy and occupied, but like for real, I would rather do this than have to restart the podcast. So, she was phenomenal. She was absolutely phenomenal. And I felt the shift right away. And so from working with her some more, I decided that I really, really wanted to, she actually suggested it to me. She's like, you know what? I really think that you would be so good at this. And I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. And so I don't do the traditional SRT clearing because I like to fast track everything. Fast track. I'm like, let's get this done, right? Let's just like do it, get it done. We don't need to do it 500 times. We can get to the root of it and be done with it, right? And so through my own evolution of myself, I have like created this way to be able to shift and change everything very quickly for people, as opposed to like having to go through like every single one of the emotions and everything else, right? Because like I work a lot with emotions, okay? I alchemize emotions is what I do, because when we had these experiences as children with our parents, okay, with other people, with siblings, with at school, whatever it is, right? We have an emotion and it becomes stored in the body. And then that is the same emotion that comes up every time we have the same experience. And it's keeping us in this repetitive cycle. It's keeping us in this belief system. It's keeping us from actually moving forward or being confident or finding the people, or like finding a partner, or finding like whatever it is that you're working towards, like progressing in our career or whatever it is, right? I work with relationships a lot, relationships and career, but I feel like if you're having blocks in one, you're having blocks, like they're same. They're like, if one is affected, the other one is affected. Okay. Because how we do one thing is how we do everything. So if you're continuously self-sabotaging in your career, you're self-sabotaging in your relationships as well. Okay. It's just how it is. I didn't make it up. I didn't make the rules. It's just how it is. So, when you can get to actually the root of it and clear it, then everything else shifts and changes as well. Okay. And in every area of your life, right? Because the who is the like the common denominator and all those things, it's you. Okay. And this is where the like as within, so without thing comes into play, right? Like one within when our external environment is a reflection of our internal environment, right? And so if we are self-sabotaging in other ways, then we're going to self-sabotage in the external world, and that's going to be a reflection towards us. Okay, so getting back to like relationships and everything, though, like one thing that I told so many women, and this is really what I wanted to touch base on today, is like when we end these connections, okay, there's like this longing, right? There's the sadness, there's this longing, there's this like missing them and everything. And it's like, are you actually missing them? Or are you missing, like, what it is you're missing the person that you were with them? So you're not actually mourning them and the connection, you're mourning the person that you were with them. Okay? You're mourning that version of yourself that you're actually letting go of. And this is where we kind of like get mixed up, and we idolize that person and we idolize that connection. And it's like, actually, no, you are the magic, the divine feminine. If you look at all of the, not that masculines aren't amazing. I think men, divine masculines, are absolutely phenomenal. And I like would never like, don't get me wrong, I've probably badmouthed men in the past, but that's not who I am anymore. But like, yeah, I think that men are absolutely phenomenal and they are incredible and all of the things. Let's just establish that. Healed, divine masculine men, okay? And I do believe that every man has the potential to be able to make that decision, whether they want to do the healing work or not, right? But you're the magic. Divine feminine, you are the magic. You are the one who is fun and playful and creative and all of the things. And they know that. They know that. This is why, like, so throughout history with society, this is why women have been so repressed. Is because we are magical. We are so amazing and our energy is like magnetic. And when we are the most powerful when we are in our divine feminine essence. And men know that. That is why they treat us the way they do. It's because they don't want us to feel powerful in ourselves. A divine masculine will support you and hold container for you to be able to stand in your power. They will. But if you're with an unhealed masculine, I'm going to tell you how you're going to know that you are with an unhealed masculine is your nervous system is going to be on overdrive. You're going to be anxious, you're going to be worrying, you're going to be stressing, you're going to be gripping and like, oh my God. That is an unhealthy relationship. Nobody should be in a relationship like that. Okay. And I've been there. I know it. I wrote the book on it. Remember? So nobody should be living in that kind of situation with a partner. If that's how it is, like you need to have a very, very serious conversation or you need to end the connection because that is not healthy. And that is how they almost like keep us hooked. They keep us in this cycle because we don't believe that we're like worthy and deserving, or we don't realize that we are the magic in this relationship. Okay? And when we're in our power, it doesn't matter. They don't text you back. Oh, well. When they do, guess what? You're busy. And that's not being toxic. Okay. That's not being like, granted, if they're like busy for a reason because they're at work and whatever else, like that's a whole completely different situation, right? But if your actual nervous system is like running rampant, here's another thing though. If when you meet a healthy divine masculine, your nervous system still may have this little moment of like, I don't know what to do with this because this is not normal and this doesn't feel weird. This feels weird. This feels like new. And that's normal. But as long as you're like able to soften into that relationship, that's a completely different situation. Your divine masculine should be able to calm your nervous system. And if they don't, no, not the person for you. Not the person for you. And that's okay. But that's an awareness. That's an experience. We always learn something from that, right? We always learn something from that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But so many times women think that they've idolized this masculine and put him on a pedestal. I know, I've been there, I've done it. Okay. I'm talking out of experience here. Okay. Everything that I share with you is from experience. It's from learning. It's from all of the things. Okay. And so this is why it's really important after a relationship and after a connection to spend time with yourself after, to like restabilize your nervous system, to do the work so that you're not continuously attracting the same partners over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. And I do say nervous system because that's what it is. Like when you've been living in fight or flight your whole life, oh my God. It is like, just your body is just like this mess. And you don't even actually know what it's like to relax. I know, I've been there, where it's like relaxing felt scarier than being in high alert the whole time. Okay. And this is actually why I have created the Sacred Reset, is to help women actually heal from this like fight or flight, to heal their nervous system, to just be with themselves, to connect with themselves, to be able to connect with their intuition. Because when you are living in high alert, when you are living in fight, flight, or like freeze or fawn, there's fawn now too. Well, there always has been. It's just more aware now. You actually are not connecting with your intuition. You're unable to connect with your intuition to actually feel if this is a positive or a negative connection for yourself. And men don't do it intentionally. It's not like they're intentionally just being like, haha, I'm going to fuck with her nervous system. Some men maybe, but it's never intentional. And all of these relationships happen for us, not to us. Okay. They happen for us to show us and to make aware where we still need to do this like healing. And that's okay. But I do not want you to ever think that when you're living in that like fight, flight, or freeze or fawn situation, that it's something that you have to fix within yourself. Okay? You are the magic. If anything, I want you to remember you are the magic and to put yourself on the damn pedestal. Because you are powerful in your divine feminine energy. And don't get me wrong, I've actually worked with a client who was kind of going into this like fight or flight thing with a man that she was connecting with, because he wasn't like, and it wasn't even, it wasn't because of the relationship. It was more so because he's not her usual type. And so she was like, oh my God, there's this whole like idea of is like, what is society going to think? And this fear of being judged and all of these other things. And then the family, like, what are they going to think? And all of this stuff, right? And we're always worried about like pleasing everybody else as opposed to like being happy within ourselves and just living our lives for us, right? That is the most important, to live your life for yourself. You are the only person that pays your bills, from what I understand. Maybe you have a partner that you pay your bills with, but then you probably wouldn't be listening to this podcast. Maybe, I don't know, possibly, but I'm not going to speculate. But like, you're the one who has to wake up every day and look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I am happy with this person. I am happy with my life. I am happy with the choices that I'm making. And if you're not, then it's up to you to change that, right? I'm happy with what I have, right? And don't get me wrong, there's lots of days where I'm just like, fuck. And I look around and I'm like, look at this beautiful home I've created. Look at all of the beautiful things that I have. Look at all of the beautiful people that I've helped. And I keep going day after day after day. Even though some days I don't want to. And even though some days I actually have to take a day out, I have realized that I am not a machine and I have to take time out for me, because otherwise my divine feminine energy is like, it's like a withered rose that's not blooming because And if you're feeling that way in a relationship, girl, run, because I've been there. I was dating a guy, and I literally was not listening to my intuition. And this was because you're still living in this, like, I can fix him. Don't settle for potential. Do not settle for potential. Okay. We can see potential in men all the time, everywhere. We can see the potential. But if they're like not showing up the way they are meant to be, my whole body, I got a rash, I had hives, and I was like, whoa, we need to do something about this. And I ended the relationship. Finally, I was just like, you're stupid. It's 11:11 on my clock right now, but it's like, hello, stupid. Like, how much more time and effort are you going to put into this? No, it's like, pull the plug. Like, the connection is already dead, and you're sacrificing your health and your wellness and your body for this. Like, you are like, hello, wake up call. Okay, wake up call. And so, like, let me be your wake up call. Okay, if you have like any doubts or anything, like, girl, run. Okay, so fast. And as soon as I entered the connection, like, I'm sure within a couple days my hives had like cleared up. So, like, you tell me. And I was literally living in like fight or flight continuously. And my nervous system was like all over the place because I wasn't listening to it. And I couldn't even tune into my intuition to even be like, hello. And that's why my body just was like, okay, you're not listening. We're going to show you. And that's why some women, you know how they say that women put on weight after a relation or in a relationship sometimes because they're comfortable. Maybe in some circumstances, like, we know we have women that like they give birth, and so of course like we put on weight for that and everything else, right? However, like, when women put on weight, it's usually because they feel unsafe. And we're protecting ourselves. So, like, this is something that you really need to take into consideration in your partnerships. Is like, how are you feeling in them? How are they showing up for you? And it's a two-sided connection, girl. Like, it's a two-sided connection. How are you showing up too? That doesn't just mean that the masculine does all the work, even though they're the ones that are meant to pursue us. I actually had a man ask me the one time, girl, sometimes I just have to serve it up on a platter. But I'm just talking to you like you're my best friend now. Actually, I hope that's how you feel. If you're here with me, I hope that's how you feel, is that we're just like besties having chat right now. But so he literally asked me about like courting. And like, isn't it the woman's responsibility to like continue courting as well? And I'm like, what? It is never the woman's responsibility to court a man. Are you for real? That is like mismatched energy. That is like the man living in his feminine energy. Not okay. Not okay. If you think that a woman is supposed to chase you, don't get me wrong. And I understood where he was coming from. What he really meant is like for women to like show affection and to be, do you know what I mean? But like, it's also the man's responsibility to create a safe place for that woman to continuously want to. So obviously somewhere along the way, something happened that there was a disconnection. That woman was like, absolutely not. We're done. Women will pull away much faster and not put in the time and the effort anymore when they're done. And women will ask you 500 million times. They will plead, they will beg, and you will know they are done when they stop asking. It's not because everything's okay. It's because they stopped asking, and you probably fucked up a long time ago. Not always. I shouldn't be like always. I think some women will literally just like, if you've outgrown a relationship, then it's just time to go. And I'm not saying that all women, there are some toxic women out there. I've been the toxic woman in a relationship before because I was unhealed. Okay? Because I didn't do the freaking work, because I was like, needy, and because I was like, didn't have the self-confidence, and there was like fear around the connection and all the things. All the things. Okay. And that's okay. I can say that now. And I've said that to, so, like, one of my exes that reached out to me the one time, and I was like, yeah, we were both not good in the relationship, and that's just how it is. That's just how it is. And that's okay. That's a part of living. That's a part of growing. We aren't meant to know it all. We're not meant to be here to know it all. That's why we're here. That's why we have these connections. That's why we have these relationships. You grow the most through your relationships. Okay? And like, you either grow together or you grow apart. Because not everybody decides to do the work. That's what I tell my queens in Self Love Queen Academy. I'm like, not everyone decides to do this work. Because it's work. If change was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would do it. But it's not. You're changing mindsets, you're changing patterns, you're changing habits, you're changing all of those things. And it's easier to stay in the comfort of what you already know, even if it's chaos. Because that's all you've known. So when you can actually take some time out and connect with yourself and do the self inventory that is required to be like, wait a minute, this isn't it. And I know I've helped women. I've helped a woman find the man, like the love of her life. I've helped another woman who's like out traveling the world, living her best life. I've helped another woman up level in her career where she never believed that it would actually happen. I've helped other women like leave toxic relationships, and I've helped other women just have more self-confidence in themselves and see and believe that they are like worthy and deserving of love and better. Because I've gone through all of that. So, there's multiple ways for you to work with me. But if you want to start out soft and small, I have the Sacred Reset, okay? And it is a monthly container for you that I want to invite you to. And if something that we talked about today really resonated with you, okay, if you're craving space to slow down, to exhale, to reconnect with yourself, you're not meant to do this alone. We're not meant to do this alone, okay? This is why we build communities. This is why they used to have communities, okay? And this is my private community where women come to rest, release, and realign. It's a sacred pause from the noise, the pressure, and the constant doing. Inside, you'll receive guided meditations, activations, live gatherings, and ongoing support to help you reset your nervous system, reconnect with your intuition, and come back home to yourself again and again. Okay? To just soften into your divine feminine energy and to just be one with yourself. It's not about fixing you. Okay? It's about remembering who you are beneath it all. And if your body just said yes while you're listening, then trust that. So you can join us if you'd like inside the Sacred Reset. And I will post the link for that in the show notes because I would love to hold space for you there. All right. So let me know what you thought of today's episode. And please like, share, and subscribe so that you get notifications so that I can grow my following. And maybe somebody who needs to hear what I have to say. All right. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be all over the place. But I just trust in what's coming through needs to be said. All right. So I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful day.